In this video, I want to share a step-by-step beginner's guide to intentional living. I want to talk about not only what I see intentional living to be, but also how to practice intentional living. The things that you can do to feel like you are living with intention. The way that I see it is the more intentionally you are living, the more thoughtful decisions you have made and are making. You are deciding how you want to live as much as you are able to. You decide what information, what inspiration you want to be around. You actually put thought into how you want to spend your days, your weeks, your months, and your years. You don't slide through life and you don't live on autopilot. The first step towards intentional living that is accessible to anyone is to know your values. If you don't know what you value, if you are not living your values, you're just going to feel uncomfortable, and not in a good way of like, oh, pushing past my comfort zone, in more of a, I'm not the person that I want to be kind of way. Value exercises used to feel really intimidating to me and very formal, like very 1990s self-help seminar. But now I talk about my values and I go back to my values all the time. I talk to my friends, my partner about their values, about my values, about where they interlink. I look at my values when I set my goals. I look at my values when I'm making decisions. When I feel off in life, I think about my values. Knowing your values literally just means knowing what's important to you, what you need to be embracing to feel good in your life. Here is how to uncover your genuine values. Start by reflecting on the times when you've felt any kind of strong emotion, happiness and ease, as well as stuckness and anger. So some of my favorite strong feelings are after I read like a mind-blowing book and I feel like I've learned so much and my mind has expanded. So learning is one of my values. One of my least favorite feelings is facing red tape, feeling micromanaged, feeling trapped. So one of my values is freedom. To practice your values, translate those values into actions and behaviors. Every value comes with practices. The value of learning comes with practices like reading, watching documentaries, deliberate practice. The value of connection comes with practices like traditions, planning connection into your month, meaningful conversation. Ask yourself big questions. The quality of your life is a direct reflection of the quality of the questions you are asking yourself. An essential part of intentional living is asking yourself the big questions and answering truthfully. Here are some of the big questions that you need to be asking yourself. How do you believe that life should be lived? What does your ideal day look like? What lifestyle do you want? What do you actually want out of life? If you embrace your values to the fullest, what would your life look like? To take action on this, take that list of questions. Every morning for the next month, set a timer for 20 minutes. Journal on all of those questions. Notice yourself when you resist writing things down, and when you find yourself lying to yourself, convincing yourself that you want one thing when in actuality you want something completely different. Then make your big life decisions based on that knowledge. Your answers to these questions are going to change over time, especially when you hit big life milestones. The lifestyle that you want when you have kids, the lifestyle that you want when you're retired are gonna look very different. And your answers are also going to change as you get to know yourself, which is the next step to intentional living. Develop self-awareness. If you don't know what you're feeling, what you struggle with, what excites you, what makes you happy, what your emotional needs are, what kind of people lift you up, what holds you back, how can you design your life on purpose? How can you make any choices that align with you if you don't know what aligns with you? A good intentional first step towards self-awareness is personality tests for self-reflection. So I want to clarify, personality tests are self-reflection tools, not boxes that you fit in or that you should fit in. I don't think anyone should take personality tests unless they see them as anything but that, because it can be self-destructive. People love labels, they love boxes. They love boxing themselves in, and they also love boxing other people in. But when we put ourselves or even others in boxes like self-absorbed and temperamental, because that's what showed up on our Enneagram test, or that's what our star sign says, and we decide that that is just who we are, that's self-destructive. It's giving fixed mindset. It's giving I am who I am, there's no changing me. It's not cute, it's not helpful for you or anyone else. If you are someone who finds yourself easily boxing yourself in because of personality tests, and you want to move away from that, read the book Personality Isn't Permanent by Benjamin Hardy. He tears personality tests apart and he emphasizes the research that shows that you can move from one box to another. In saying that, like I said, personality tests are really good self-reflection tools. You can reflect on the information that's presented to you and think about whether that does apply to you, whether that's who you want to be. There are 3 personality tests that I've found the most helpful. Only 2 of them are backed by research and studies. Firstly, the Big 5. This is the most grounded by research personality test that you will come across. And the research shows that all of your Big 5 are flexible. You can move from agreeable agreeable to unagreeable. You can even move a bit in terms of introversion towards extroversion. The second test is the Enneagram test. This is my favorite. Some people are star sign people. I'm an Enneagram girl. I've just found this to be one of the most interesting personality tests to take for self-reflection. And the third is an attachment style test. This isn't a personality test at all, but it's grounded by research, and it's also incredibly helpful to understand who you are and why you might act the way that you do in certain relationships. For me, figuring out which attachment style I lean towards, it was like being hit by a ton of bricks. And uncovering your attachment styles with different people is really interesting. You can reflect on why you are really secure with a certain person and why you find yourself leaning really anxious or really avoidant with another person. And all of that information helps you to build more intentional relationships. Before I get into the next beginner step that you should be taking to build an intentional life, this video is sponsored by Squarespace. My website is on Squarespace. My website for my app is built on Squarespace. It's the platform that I recommend to absolutely anyone who wants to create a website and wants to create a website in a way that is easy, but things still look good because they have all these beautiful templates. And a big thing for me is they have no plugins, no patches, no random updates that if you don't do them will break your website ever. This is so important, especially if you're not a website designer, you're not a coder, you don't want to be dealing with all that stuff. You just want a beautiful website, and that's where Squarespace comes in. Squarespace is flexible for any kind of website. So whether you are an artist, you are a creator, you want to create a store, you are a designer, or you just want a website for you, click the link below, squarespace.com/MichelleB, and use the code MichelleB to get 10% off of your first purchase. Once again, squarespace.com/MichelleB, use the code MichelleB to get 10% off of your first purchase. Find or create principles that align with you. When you have principles that are guiding your life, you make more intentional choices in your days, your weeks, your years. A principle is a basic rule that guides or influences your thoughts or actions. So some examples are: choose courage over comfort, change what you can, accept what you can't, focus on solutions, not problems, treat everything you do as an experiment. Principles are things that you pick up over time. It might be through watching my videos, reading certain books, watching documentaries, going through particular life experiences, but they should be chosen with intention. And when you have a set of principles that guide your life, you will find yourself living more intentionally. Have self-reflection routines. Without self-reflection, we go off track. Fingers crossed, every single year you take your car to a mechanic and it gets like a day, maybe more than a day, just getting realigned. Like the wheels have shifted, things need oil, the brakes aren't working as well as they should. Every single year you should be taking yourself in for a similar routine. You've been so busy living and doing that you forget what you're actually living for. Things go off track. In your big yearly self-reflection practice, that's when you should be asking yourself the big questions, reflecting on your values, making changes, setting big goals. In a quarterly self-reflection practice, you want to look back at those big questions, realign with them, maybe set some quarterly goals. A monthly self-reflection practice could just be making sure you're on top of your self-care. You're maintaining yourself, you're maintaining your goals. A weekly self-reflection practice might just be checking that you're doing the things you said you'd do. You can't move intentionally without maintenance and self-reflection. Wade through and clean up your trash. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. You can't live intentionally until you've acknowledged and worked with the parts of yourself that you have been told to hide, the emotions that you have repressed, until you understand the hidden beliefs that are guiding your whole life. When you haven't uncovered why you do what you do, you have beliefs buried in your subconscious, directing what you do. And these are beliefs that you haven't chosen. They are beliefs that were given to you based on experiences, maybe your family, bad friends. You will have parts of yourself that you hide from people in order to be approved, creating inauthentic relationships. You will have trauma, little t, big T, that impacts the people that you choose to be with, who you choose to surround yourself with, what you will do and what you won't do. This is a whole new part of intentional living for me that I've only dived into in the past 6 months or so. But as a beginner in this area, I started by firstly learning to be conscious of my body and my feelings. I have a whole video that will help you to get started with this. I'll have it linked down below. Secondly, processing past experiences. These are the experiences that you feel resistance towards revisiting, that you know that you haven't processed properly, that have shaped beliefs, that carry repressed emotions, or that feel confusing. You can work through this with a qualified professional, and if you have big trauma, that's what you should do. I talked a bit more about this in my video on how to like yourself or how to practice self-love. I'm gonna have that video linked down below. And thirdly, uncovering the stories and beliefs that shape your life and moving towards better stories. If you believe that to make good money, you need to work long hours and you need to hate what you do, that is going to shape your life. If you genuinely think that all women are jealous, they are unsupportive, that completely directs your relationships and you miss out on such a beautiful part of life. If you believe believe that your self-worth is informed by your productive output, that limits your ability to have a life filled with joy and filled with wonder. Working through these beliefs is one of the keys to intentional living. Decide how you want to spend your time. How we spend our days is how we spend our lives. If you aren't making intentional decisions about how you want to spend your time, you're not really living. This is obviously such a huge topic that my channel focuses on. I'm not going to try and condense it into this one video. Instead, to end this video, here are 2 videos that I'd recommend watching. Firstly, 7 ways to have more energy in your days and weeks. This video is all about designing your days and weeks with intention. Secondly, how to create more time in your life. Watch this video if you're looking to create more blank space, more white space in your life. I appreciate you so very much, and I will see you soon.